Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the DFS Minute. I'm your host, Michael Rathburn, aka Rath. You can find me on Twitter at FantasyWrath. Welcome into rotocurve.com. Monday morning, June 15, 2015. And got a lot to cover today. Not going to talk a lot about Monday's picks. Mainly, we're going to do recap from the weekend, talk a little bit about the draft day deal, talk a little bit about Sunday, Max Scherzer's perfect game flirtation, talk a little bit about FanDuel happy hour. Got a little bit more explanation about that. They did actually start listing that stuff in their lobby as far as the explanation of it, which is good. Not sure if they heard my video the other day about it, but thumbs up to them again for promoting it, publicizing it, and it's definitely something that you want to be take advantage of if you can. I'll talk a little bit about FSTA, some pricing, RotoCurve head-to-head bracket challenge over on Fantasy Score, and then the importance of prospects being called up and what that means for you as a daily fantasy player, where you can take advantage of those prospects being called up, and if the price is right or the price is not right, I'll let you know what I think. So let's start off with the draft day MGT transaction with Sportech PLC. They're based out of London. Darren Heitner put it out there Friday morning. Good guy in the industry, good source. Him and I have exchanged in the past, and so he put it out there. He was kind of the first one to break the story. And really what it looks like is $4 million cash, $7 million total. And Sportech, just from what I've been reading, is the largest international provider of pari-mutuel systems and services. They have several locations all throughout the world. They are involved with Mohegan Sun. They are involved with Bobby Valentine's Sports Bar. So this is a very interesting transaction for them. And I think that if they can leverage their relationship with Mohegan Sun, I think that there's definitely some potential here and see what they do. Now, they're based out of London, but they do have U.S. offices. Looks like their main office is out of Connecticut. They do have offices in Atlanta and Toronto as well. So that's something that definitely, the transaction timing is very interesting. Like we talked about on the State of DFS show a couple Thursdays ago, I did mention that while I didn't get this prediction exactly right, I did say I thought DraftKings would make a move on the second-tier sites of Victiv and Draft Day, MGT, or possibly Fantasy Aces. So what happened was, in a matter of a week, Fantasy Aces had a deal with Draft Team, and MGT had a deal with Sportech. So it's very interesting to see how within a matter of a week something happened. Now, the reason why we predicted that would happen is the timing. This has happened before. We saw it happen last year with Draft Street and with Star Street, and really, and with MGT Draft Day. So really what it comes down to is the month of June is critical in DFS because you have NFL planning. Now you have a lack of activity going on, where NBA winds down, NHL winds down. You only have MLB really as a major sport, unless you're DraftKings and you have every sport. But really what happens is a lot of these discussions start taking place in April and May, and then come to fruition June and July. So don't be surprised if we do see more activity in the industry as far as mergers, acquisitions, new players in the industry. Just be aware that over the next 30 to 60 days, I'd say more like 30 to 45 days, you're probably going to see some activity in the industry. So be very curious to see who the new players are. If there's any consolidation, we'll definitely see what happens, but definitely something to be aware of in the industry and what's going to happen. Let's talk about Sunday MLB. Max Scherzer flirted with a perfect game yesterday, put up a 60 on DraftKings. So if you had him, you probably won quite a bit. But the crazy thing about it is you had three other guys that put up 30. Sonny Gray, Cole Hamels, Chris Sale, all putting up 30+. So I saw a lot of rosters with 90 points out of their pitching, which is insane. And then you had Billy Hamilton, a DraftKings special, because of the stolen bases. 5 stolen bases yesterday, put up 37 DraftKings points. He's actually been pretty disappointing most of this year, other than the first few weeks in April. So the crazy thing about him is, putting up 5 stolen bases and what that can do. The problem is he just can't get on base on a consistent basis. So he just might end up being a guy who becomes a fourth outfielder, pinch runner type situation. Talked about early, in the beginning about the happy hour FanDuel. Good to see that they put a banner up in their lobby in their promotions window and basically explaining it. It's Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 Eastern, and they promise at least one contest that will have added value or value add. So what that means is that they'll add additional prizes to the prize pool, or they'll give out free tickets to a future contest. I think this is great. Definitely gives people a reason to come on the site. And it's better than a free roll, in my opinion, because it's more targeted and it gives you a better opportunity to be able to capitalize on it. So, increases activity and to the site, traffic to the site on multiple days, because if they're giving you money and you get money, then you come back and play the next day. If they're giving you free entries, you come back and play the following day as well. So kudos to FanDuel on the happy hour promotion. I do love it, and I'm glad that they're bringing light to it and giving some explanation to it. Talked a little about FSTA, Fantasy Sports Trade Association meeting in New York. That's taking place next week, a week from today, next Monday and Tuesday. So the RotoCurve team will be there. We look forward to meeting everybody in the industry again. And it'd be good for me to get back to FSTA. It's been a couple of meetings. I had some personal things that just conflicted with the timing of the conferences. So definitely looking forward to being able to come back to FSTA as part of RotoCurve, and looking forward to everybody that we can meet and hopefully, develop some additional partnerships for our site that we're always looking to work with people. RotoCurve Bracket Challenge. We're going to start it up again this week on Fantasy Score. It starts Tuesday, so jump in the forum thread. Make sure you sign up. Now, the thing with Fantasy Score is it's $20 minimum deposit, but we did give out some spiffs if you deposited on Fantasy Aces last week. So you can use some of that money on Fantasy Aces that you got, roll it over to Fantasy Score as well. We definitely like working with Fantasy Aces and Fantasy Score. We're basically going to have like a rotation of 3 sites. It'll be Fantasy Aces, Fantasy Score, and DraftKings as far as our head-to-head challenge. So don't worry, we're not going to go on every single site. We're just going to keep it to those 3. Those are the 3 partners that we prefer to work with on this, and so we're looking forward to it. Again, sign up in the forum. We got to get to 16 to run it, and it looks like we're pretty close to that. Would love to see us get to more than that, but if we can't get to more than that, we run it with 16. That's fine. But definitely, look, we're throwing up some additional prize money, RotoCurve T-shirt, RotoCurve fleece. So if you're a member of the RotoCurve community, definitely check it out. Jump in. Fantasy Score is a pretty cool site. They're owned by USA Today, and the thing I like about Fantasy Score is it is similar to FanDuel. And most of their scoring is FanDuel scoring, except for the fact that they do not penalize for outs. So I love that. The salaries have a lot more range. So you got a lot more guys at the lower tier. So you can play stars and scrubs and put out a pretty good lineup. Also, 2-pitcher site, which I love. And they do have late swap, which is pretty cool as well if you happen to need that. And their bonus is an instant bonus. We have a 50% instant bonus with them. What that means is that you get that money instantly. You don't have to worry about it being paid out 3%, 4%, 5%, where you're only getting about 60 cents or $1 on every entry that you're getting in. You're basically getting free money right away for deposit on Fantasy Score. So they've made it very easy for you to jump in and deposit over on Fantasy Score. So click through our links on rotocurve.com and make sure you sign up for that head-to-head bracket challenge. One of the things I noticed, let's talk about a little bit about today. I'm not going to get into picks or anything like that. That's not really what the segment's designed for, but we do like to touch on it a little bit. Is I've noticed Freddie Freeman is actually the seventh highest cost player, 7th highest salary player on DraftKings, and he's 24th on FanDuel. Gotta like Freddie Freeman today against Rick Porcello. Very interesting matchup there. He's extremely cheap over on FanDuel. I believe he's $3,900. So again, we don't advocate you going cheap on first base, but when you get a guy like Freddie Freeman at a discount with a great matchup, I think you got to take advantage of it. And then it allows you to pay up at other positions. When you talk about paying up in other positions, a guy that jumps off the board to me is probably the chalk play of the day is Tanaka against Miami in Miami, and they do struggle against right-handed pitching. So Tanaka's got that huge ceiling, and he's looked pretty good coming back. You definitely tread lightly with Tanaka, but he has looked good. And he's got a chance of putting up a 15 or a 20 on FanDuel today. So definitely like Tanaka, especially in cash games. And then the final piece of today is let's talk about rookies, prospects being called up, because there's been some guys. We saw Carlos Correa come up last week, and he's performed well. Take advantage of this opportunity with these guys early on, because if they come up and their price is cheap and they're in good positions and they're elite prospects, you can really take advantage of it. Here's the thing with Correa. They already got him batting second. He's batted second the last 2 games. So he's already made that level of impression on the Astros, and I really like Correa. This reminds me so much of when the Mariners called up Alex Rodriguez all the way back in the mid-90s, I believe 95, 96, in that loaded Mariners lineup, and he just was sandwiched in between, guys like I think he was hitting in front of Edgar Martinez or behind Edgar Martinez. I don't remember. Griffey was on that team, but Alex Rodriguez was getting like 100% fastballs every single day, and he put up like he put up a monster number. I believe it was in 95 or 96, where I remember him hitting like 350 with 30 bombs and 100 RBIs, some insane and like a ridiculous amount of stolen bases too. So the Correa call-up for me does remind me a lot of Alex Rodriguez, which was almost like 20 years ago. So it just shows you how old I am, and that I kind of have a pretty good memory when it comes to baseball. But so yeah, no, definitely take advantage of Carlos Correa. He's still only 3,000 over on FanDuel, a little bit more expensive on DraftKings. He's all the way up to 4.3, so probably a no play over there. But as long as they're going to keep him at 3K on FanDuel, you got to roll him out there as long as it's a pretty good matchup. Some of the other guys that get called up, the biggest name to get called up is Byron Buxton, who's one of the top prospects in baseball, outfielder for the Minnesota Twins. He's battled some injuries, which has kind of slowed his progression, but he's a kid who is a 5-tool player. And I really love Buxton. I mean, what's not to like, when you get a guy that's a 5-tool player, center fielder. Is he B.J. Upton? When B.J. Upton was good, that's a comparison that people have made. People have comped him to Trout. I don't really think the power is going to be there. But, Buxton's power will probably come later on as he fills out because he's a pretty lean kid. But he's definitely a guy you want to take a look at. He's 2.4 on FanDuel. He's 3.6 on DraftKings. So I'm probably not using him on DraftKings, but FanDuel, he's probably an option. Just depends on where they hit him in the lineup and who he's going against. He's much better against left-handed pitching versus righties. And we know the Twins crush lefties and struggle against righties. So Buxton's going to be a guy who's going to have a lot of value in stacks against lefties, depending on where he hits in the lineup. Francisco Lindor, shortstop for the Indians, is the other guy that got called up. That's big name. Now, Lindor is mostly known for his glove. His bat's not really elite or even, above average. It's basically average or below average. So you're not going to get a lot of pop out of Lindor. He's a great glove. And so just be aware that, he is a shortstop. He is minimum salary. He's 2.2 on FanDuel, 3.6 on DraftKings. So, again, no play on DraftKings, but he is a play on FanDuel. Probably more of a tournament play for me as a more of a punt where I'm trying to find value. But then the other two guys is definitely, take a look at Mason Williams. He's been a top prospect for a while. Not elite like some of the other guys, but he has been top 100. He's an outfielder for the Yankees. He's at 2.2 on FanDuel. And then Giovanni Urshela is a guy who's kind of flown under the radar. He's third base. That's kind of why I mention it. Third base, 2.2 for the Indians. He's hitting at the bottom of the lineup, so he's a tournament play only for me. But just keep an eye on these guys and where their price tags are and what they're doing because, we saw Joey Gallo get called up and hit a couple of bombs. He's mostly a feast or famine kind of guy. He's going to hit a home run or he's probably going to strike out. So, more of a tournament play for me. But, the guy for me, we talked about it right away is, Correa. Just continue to buy Correa until his salary gets to the point where, he's hitting value, market value, and then you just got to pick your spots. But just continue to roll Correa out there. As long as he's not going against like an elite right-handed pitcher, I think you got to definitely roll with him. So I think that's about it for today. I know I covered a lot, kind of went quick, but just want to hit everything. We get a couple of days off with the weekend, come back refreshed, renewed, and looking forward to everybody on rotocurvetoday.com. Big day today. RotoWire spot, 1 o'clock, Sirius XM, Sports Zone 1060 spot, Phoenix, Arizona, NBC affiliate at 4:15. And then we'll hit you back here in 6 to 6:15 hour around that time when lineups come out. Benny and Josh will be in the forums and the chat room all day today, helping everybody out. I'll be in and out. And just look forward to seeing everybody today and talking about the slate and seeing where we're going to go. And as we always say here at RotoCurve, stay classy, DFS.